Okay, question 2. The price of softwood changes each year. The price has increased by 6% every year for each of the last 5 years. Before this, the price had decreased 2% every year. 7 years ago, the price of softwood was £34. What's the current price? So basically, we're looking back in time here, aren't we? We look over 7 years, and it's telling us what happened. So it says that it increased 6% for each of the last 5 years, and then before that, it had decreased by 2% for every year. Okay. So if we're looking back in time, we need to go back 7 years to begin with. So go back 7 years to begin with. For the first 2 years, that would be then, wouldn't it? It had decreased by 2%. Okay, so for 2 years, then it decreased by 2%, and then the following 5 years, it increased. So you can see that connection there. So because it decreased by 2%, what you've got to think of, 7 years ago, £34, that sort of like represents the price 7 years ago, and that's sort of, think of that as like 100%. That's what the price was back then. And then for 2 years, it decreased for 2%, didn't it? So in other words, you lost 2% of the value. Okay, so we can get a multiplier from this. Okay, obviously, if you've taken 2% away, you end up with 98%. And then as a multiplier, then you write that as a decimal, so you get your multiplier then 0.98. Okay, so for 2 years, it decreased, so you need to multiply by this multiplier to the power of 2, because it's for 2 years. 34 times 0.98 squared, and you get 32. I would write all that down, right? Don't round it, because you're going to have errors, rounding errors if you round that. So 32.6536. Okay, so that's what the price would be 2 years after it was cost of £34. Obviously, it's gone down, isn't it? It's gone down 2% for each year. Then for the following 5 years, it goes up, doesn't it? Increases. Now, if you think about this, then, okay, as representing 100%, okay, after 2 years. Now this is the price of it, and now it's going to increase by 6%. So basically, we're going to add 6% onto its value, okay, because it increases, and that gives me 106%, which leads my multiplier. Of course, you know, change this to a decimal, divide by 100 on your calculator, you get 1.06. Okay, so now it's more than 100% naturally, because it's increasing. But now we take this price and we're going to multiply now by our multiplier, 1.06, to the power, this time, because it goes up for 5 years, okay, it's the power 5. So I'm going to do that. Now I've got that already written there, so I can press times and the answer will be there, 1.06 to the power 5, and I get then this, £43. Okay, now this time I can round, what is it, 697, so that'll be £43 and 70 pence. Okay, £43 and 70 pence. That's the current price of wood. So go through that again, right, just to check if you're not sure. But the key is you're always multiplying, okay, always multiplying. Sometimes your multiplier will be less than 1, okay. It's less than 1 because it's decreased, doesn't it? Okay, it's lost in value. But you do it then for however many years that was for, and then you take that new value, and of course then it's 5 years, it was increasing, so your multiplier now is more than 1, and then power 5 for 5 years, and you end up getting then a bigger answer.